Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. I'm gonna try to tell this without trying to make myself sound like a complete insane person, because this is kind of nuts. So, I just had another rapture dream. It was at around 7:30 tonight, which I know, why was I sleeping during I work third shift, my sleep schedule is just non-existent, it's crazy. But anyways, so today's October the 14th, 2024, and this rapture dream, it was very different. Obviously, with what we know biblically, a lot of what I'm going to say that happened in my dream, we know it won't actually happen this way, at least not literally. Sometimes dreams are nothing more than that, just dreams, but if it's a rapture dream, I'm gonna tell you guys, better do that than not. Just, you never know. God may be saying something. Maybe it's just for me. Maybe it's for a lot of people. But it is kind of crazy. Just stick with me here. Perhaps a lot of the elements in this dream are more symbolic than anything, but it's hard to know for sure what all it exactly means. So I'm going to read here what I wrote, and I think this is about where I remember it kind of starting. There were other things that happened before this, but I don't think they're super relevant. So I left my house, I went outside, it was nighttime, and my neighbor, who in my dream was a teenager, he was on his bike, and I think I even was a teenager, maybe for some reason in this dream. He came over to me and he's like, "Hey, I have to ask you something," and he wanted to talk to me, and he was like, it's about this rapture stuff, and some of what I'm gonna say is a little like jumbled and crazy, just because I just like had to write everything down really fast so I didn't forget it. But so it was nighttime, and you could see all the stars. Like, it was super starry night out. It was beautiful. Yeah, you could see all the stars perfectly, and so I just happened to see in the sky what looked like a meteor or a shooting star. I guess they're the same thing. It was like falling in the sky, like kind of at an angle. In my dream, I was trying to record it, but my phone battery was about to die, and it was like every time I tried like starting it, my like camera would stop. It just wasn't working out. So I didn't really know this person very well. He might have been my neighbor, or some kind of. He felt similar to a friend I used to have growing up, or like as a teenager. His name might have been like Anthony or Adam, or it might have started with an A or something, like in this dream. I may have even mentioned the same person in a dream I've talked about before, but like in real life, I haven't seen him in a long time. He also felt like a combination of my neighbor I have now, who I pretty much only just met recently, that I guess he believes, he even like asked me the other day, like, "You waiting for his return?" And so that was cool. But and anyways, so this kid, he was like super fascinated with end time stuff and kept asking me things, and we were like casually riding our bikes down the road, and then I saw another shooting star. This meteor just rapidly, instead of at an angle, it was like rapidly, like, but also kind of slowly, if that makes sense, like heading like straight down towards Earth. Again, I was trying to record it again, and it was just really difficult. And I said to my friend, like, "I've never even seen a shooting star before, and here we just saw like two, like, pretty much back to back. So that's like crazy, I think like even in the distance there may have even been like more out in the sky." So in my dream, I told my friend that I had actually just seen someone post a shooting star photo the other night on Facebook, which I also did in real life. And just like with all that in the sky, like I could feel like the rapture was very likely moments away, like very, very soon. It was kind of just wild. I kept pretty calm for the most part, even though I could feel like the rapture was like likely moments away. But we kept talking, and it's hard to remember what all he was asking me. I think he was asking me things like, "So what do you think this means?" Or, "What do you think God's trying to say about this?" Or, "What do you think is going to happen with this?" And I remember another friend showing up on the street. Like, this was like on the road, like right near my house, basically, almost in front of it. And the friend who I'd been talking to handed me like some crumpled up money, like a 10 and a 5, put it in my hand, and he's like, "Here, this is for what you've done." And I was like, "What? I didn't like really do anything. I don't need this, you know." And like, like then he gave like 15 to the other kid who just showed up just to be nice, I guess. I don't know how much of this is really relevant, but I'm just sharing what I remember what happened in the dream. I don't know what all you want to do with this if this might not mean anything, but I want to talk about it. But trust me, the dream gets a lot crazier. It's weird. And then out in the distance in the sky, I could see these big, but not like massive necessarily. I mean, I don't know how far away they were. They weren't super far, but they were kind of big explosions in the sky. They were like these like weird orange balls. Like, I don't know. It was different than a normal explosion. And like once I noticed those in the sky, like they had probably already been going on for a little bit, like maybe even, I don't know if it was like 10 seconds or a minute or what, but I don't think I noticed them immediately. I'm not sure. So I looked in the other direction behind us up in the sky, and there were also a group of those orange explosions in the sky, and there were also like those meteors like crashing down like in the distance. It was just really crazy. They were just like these weird orange exploding balls. I don't know why, I just feel like makes more sense to explain it like that, rather than just normal explosions. They weren't like high up, they were like kind of low, like almost probably closer to rooftops than like really high up in the sky. It was pretty dark out. It was kind of late, but it was also kind of bright in some areas from all the explosions and chaos. I think there was like maybe like big, like thick, gray clouds of smoke like everywhere, like at least in certain areas, like on the streets. Like, it was weird. While I was like seeing those explosions, I don't think I immediately knew what to make out of it exactly. I just knew that whether it was about to be the rapture or tribulation, it could not be any closer. Okay, so here's where it gets really weird. Like really science fiction. So then just out of like thin air almost, out of these heavy dark clouds right in front of me, there was this tall, unsettling, dark gray figure like walking toward me. Like it looked a lot like a stereotypical alien, just like, except it's like really kind of tall and somewhat skinny. It was almost like twice my height. Could have been like 10 or 12 feet tall. It was really unsettling to look at. It was pretty dark gray, but not like super dark gray. And also I drew a few pictures after I woke up, so I'll put those in the video when that happens. So it was pretty skinny, but like kind of like a bulky skinny, if that makes sense. It had like long legs, long arms, two somewhat large black alien-like eyes, and immediately I realized it wasn't just that. These things were like walking everywhere. Like, they didn't talk, they weren't running, they were walking kind of normal, kind of slow, but they weren't like, I don't think they were grabbing people that I noticed, but people were definitely running from them. Like, they were terrifying, because they were so mysterious. Like, we didn't know what they were doing, what these were. They weren't wearing any clothes. They had like big hands with somewhat skinny fingers. My thinking when this was happening during my dream was that this was God sending a delusion to the unbelievers so they would think that aliens took us. I mean, that is what most of us Christians assume will likely be what people think will happen when we're taken, when we're gone, because how else could they possibly explain millions or however many, maybe billions or so, people just suddenly being gone? Like, we all know there's so much people talking about aliens, and like I think a lot of people nowadays like think that's a very real possibility. Like it's weird as that is, like there's a lot of people that seem to actually think that aliens could exist, even though like at least we as Christians know that's not possible. It's not biblical because, well, God told us what He created in the Bible. And if you didn't know, aliens weren't in like the public consciousness. Like people didn't know what aliens were mostly, or really talk about them until like the 1950s. You know, obviously that's the famous time for when like aliens were like a big thing, like in science fiction and all of that, and movies and whatever. I saw this video on YouTube. Someone, I think a Rapture guy, was talking about, he thinks that after 1948, when Israel became a nation again, Satan knew that his time was short, so he wanted to make aliens this popular thing, so people would think, well, that's who took them. You know, this idea that these people from another planet or whatever took us, because Satan doesn't know when the rapture is going to happen. But, you know, knowing the Bible, he knew that, well, Israel would become a nation again, so once that happens, you know, it could be any time. Like, it could be very soon. He doesn't know how much time he has. And so, well, 1948, just after that, aliens started becoming a thing. I think that makes a lot of sense. But so anyways, the two friends on their bikes hurried off down the road to get to their homes or somewhere safe. And I was scared, but at the same time excited, because like everything that was happening made sense biblically. And even things that were like crazy, like aliens, it still seemed like it could make sense. Like it, I don't know. In my dream, that's kind of where my thinking was. But for some reason, I had this thought in my dream, like that it was the 10th, like October 10th maybe. But I don't know why that would be. For some reason, I think that's what I thought in my dream. But at the same time, I wasn't surprised that the rapture could happen. Something like that could happen in October, because October has been probably the most prophetic month ever for the rapture, for all that stuff. September was huge. Like, that was the most prophetic month. October, maybe even more so. Like, it's just ramping up. It's just getting more and more. If we're still here in November, expect that to be crazy. Like, even more. Like, it's just snowball effect, just more and more prophetic. Like, it's wild. If this bit of info is relevant or helpful, I'll say that I don't think I was wearing a coat, but I was wearing pants to give you an idea of the weather, the temperature. It was probably like, could have been like 11 p.m. maybe, you know, pretty late out. I ran into my house, or at least where my house is, but it looked really different. It was really weird, almost like a safety, like a bunker, or some kind of like smallish room, just stacked with, like, it was mostly just a room filled with bunk beds, you know, probably just to fit as many people as possible. And the entrance was really weird. It had like 3 doors on it. It was like almost like a cowboy, like a Western style, like they swing open kind of. I don't know. It was just weird. I tried drawing a picture of it, but it's hard to draw what I was picturing. As soon as I got inside, I was like shutting the door closed as good as I could, and I was like almost like hyperventilating, trying to explain to everyone in there like what I just saw. And you know, like, I think my family, like my parents were in there, some other people were all gathered together. They're like, yeah, we saw those like tall gray creatures out there too. And here's like a really weird, I don't even know what to make of this, but when I told them that, my mom was like, yeah, they took your aunt and cousin. And it was a little hard for me to hear with everything going on. I had her repeat that, and she said that again, and I'm like, how does that work? Because they're not even alive anymore. Like, in real life, I lost my aunt when I was 8 years old, and my cousin last year, just like suddenly, tragically, both of them. So I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that means anything. That was a really weird part of my dream, you know. But in this dream, apparently the alien things took them, even though they were already gone. Like, almost like they alien things showed them an illusion of them taking. I don't know what I'm even talking about at this point, but this is what I dreamt. Just go with me here. Bear with me. I still have more to say. And so I mentioned to the people I was with about like that I had just seen 2 shooting stars like right before all this craziness happened. And I was telling them about how like I tried recording it, but it wasn't working. So the last thing I remember before I woke up was after talking to them for a few moments, I then hurried over to my bed, which was, just a few feet away, basically. And then randomly my 5th grade science teacher hurried over to me, handing me this small notebook. And I had my own, journal, and I was about to, write what she was going to tell me in it. But she's like, no, write in mine. And she said to me, Christopher, I have one more assignment for you. She was talking to me almost as if we were in school again, trying to, be serious about it, but also, maybe trying to say it in a way so we wouldn't, be too overwhelmed with everything going on, if that makes sense. The first thing she told me to write, she told me to write the numbers 715 on the first line. There were 3 lines on the book, but then I woke up, so that's all she told me was 715. So I don't know if that means anything. If you guys know any significance to the numbers 715, 715, please let me know. Yeah, I don't know if God's giving me that number for a reason. So then I woke up and wrote everything I could remember down, which I think I pretty much got everything. I think that's all that happened, really. Then I drew some pictures of some of the imagery I saw in the dream, some of the more, the most significant parts of it, I'd say. After writing that, I noticed on my phone I had a verse of the day, in my notifications that was there today. That was Mark 13:35 through 37, and that felt super relevant to what I just dreamt, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, it's still there. It says, Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. I guess that was today's daily verse from the Life Bible app, so I thought that might be relevant to mention here. So then a little bit later, I was on my phone, and I saw this article that was suggested to me, saying that the biggest supermoon of the year is about to be here, which, as many of us know, that sounds super biblical with everything about the sun, moon, and stars, and all these rapture dreams about 2 moons, and I think there's been dreams where one of the moons is blood red, and just with how they describe this moon, it sounds very, very significant. It said on October 20th the moon will rise with Jupiter. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I know this is a lot, I know, but so this might actually be the craziest part right here. Just a little bit after that, on Facebook, I saw a post. So, one of the first posts I saw just randomly recommended to me was from this, PA star watching group or something. It was a post that someone said at 7:30, come outside, there is this comet right now. And it looked a lot like what I just dreamed and what I just drew. And, the pictures in the comments, I'll put one of those up on the screen right now and compare the two. They look really similar. A comet in the sky, there's probably only so many differences it could look like, but still, that's kind of crazy. And the fact that 7:30 is when they posted that, when they said it's outside, and that was also, the exact same time I was dreaming all of this. So that's a little weird, a little wild. It wasn't, the longest dream ever. Again, I don't know. Some of this might just be random, it might be coincidences. But, I know God gives people dreams. He said the old men will dream dreams in the last days. Is it just old men? I'm not sure if I understand that part. I don't think I'm old. Is 29 old? No. But, we know that many people that aren't old have been having dreams too. I'm not completely sure I understand why the Bible specifically says old men will dream dreams. Because I've seen like a lot of younger people have, I've seen a lot of younger people have dreams. So I think that's about it. I'm like still trying to like wrap my head around it all. It was definitely different because this dream wasn't, I call it a rapture dream, but the rapture didn't actually happen in my dream. Like, I think it was soon. Like, I think what it probably was about was like craziness happening right before the rapture, or like soon before it. Like, things are gonna get like really, really crazy, and we're gonna see like tons of crazy things in the skies. And we've been seeing so much lately in the skies. It's crazy. Have you guys been paying attention? So many once in a lifetime events, once in 100, once in 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 year events have been happening like every day. It seems every week, every month. It's been nuts. Like, you know, I've been seeing so many posts on Facebook lately about people saying, like, I saw this post where someone was like, seeing the aurora borealis in the UK used to be a once in a lifetime thing, and like it's happened like twice. It's happened twice this year, or no, for them it's like been happening like all the time. I think I've said everything I need to say. I hope this blessed somebody. Hopefully this means something to someone. Again, a lot of it could just be random. I don't know. I do think there's a lot of significance in at least some of that, like the comet thing. That was kind of crazy. So I don't know. But yeah, I hope that blessed someone in some way, and I'll just see you guys later. You know, I just think if anything else, like getting rapture dreams just encourages me, helps me like be like, yeah, this is happening soon. Like, God is like, yeah, you're gonna dream dreams, man. I'm gonna give you signs and wonders, and look up, for your redemption draws near. When these things begin to happen, when all eyes are on Israel, when all of Israel's enemies are on them, look up. Look up. Your redemption draws near. Guys, God bless you. God bless you guys. Peace. So I was just finishing up editing this video, and I found a couple screenshots I took from a few days or so ago that I'm like, holy cow, I just made another connection. And so I saw a post, another post. I know. I have to wonder if I'm just dreaming this because of what I've been seeing lately on the internet. But I know. Okay, so I saw a post that showed Hurricane Milton and another hurricane, in how they both look like skulls, and someone in the comments of that even showed that there was another hurricane from another year that also looked like a skull. And what's even crazier, this might blow your mind, is that the first two, they said, were around October 9th, when the years that those happened. Like they were going on during October 7th. I looked up when that was, and it literally said on Google, October 7th. If you don't know the significance of October 7th, biblically, of what happened in recent events, that's a big deal. That is the biggest attack on God's people ever. October 7th, 2023, just over a year ago, is when God's chosen people, Israel, were attacked. In people, most of the world have no idea just what actually took place there, how bad it really, it's bad, and of course they're still going through that. But I just thought that has to be significant, that all three of these hurricanes that have a skull-like appearance were all going on during October 7th of 2016, 2018, and 2024. There may have even been more similar hurricanes, but those are the ones that I found for sure. It's really wild. But to add on to that, what makes it significant to this video is that when I was just looking at those screenshots of those skull-like hurricanes, they reminded me a lot, very similar to what I saw in my dream of those big, creepy, dark gray creatures. I'm trying to like piece that together if that could mean something. I know it's easy to like to like over-examine things and make something out of something that's not there, you know. But I mean, obviously God is telling us stuff. You know, maybe not everything we think God's telling us may not necessarily be from him, but it's fun to try to understand, try to figure this stuff out. But that just kind of like blew my mind when I'm like, okay, maybe those gray creatures in my dream were symbols, stand-ins for the hurricanes that have been happening. Maybe, because that's a lot, because those faces in those hurricanes looked a lot like those creatures in my dream. And I didn't even make that connection during my dream, or even when I was just making this video, until I looked at those screenshots while editing this, and I'm like, holy cow, like, this is crazy. How many connections there. It seems like there's just more and more connections. Just everything just keeps making sense. It's crazy. And I feel like some kind of conspiracy nut even trying to explain all this. And if you think I'm crazy, that's okay. Maybe I am. But it's all good. It's all good. This is just weird. It's nuts. So make of that as you will. And there's one other thing. I found a screenshot I took the other day of the post that I was referring to, that in my dream I made a reference to. The first time in my dream where I'm like, oh, hey, you know, saying to my friend, I saw this post about a comet on Facebook the other day, which I mentioned I did, which, not to be confused with the post that I saw after my dream when I woke up today. Did you get all that? So the post I saw the other day, the lady took a picture of it and was asking people, what is it? She wasn't even sure what it was. Some people were like, oh, it was just like she just flung like a cigarette butt or something and just took a picture at the right moment. Some people were commenting like, it is a comet, and like I have a photo that I just took of it, which is wild because, again, like today, I completely forgot about that post already. So like, well, I didn't forget about it, but I forgot it was a comet. I don't know. It's late. It's late, guys. But I just want to try to document, be as thorough as I can with all these things. Do with that as you will. Have a good night or day or whatever, guys. Jesus is coming soon. I can promise you that. Isn't that great? I'm having a good time. I'm just occupying the time until he gets here. Good night, Maranatha. God bless. Get right with God. Get saved. Trust in Jesus. Put your faith in the Lord. Amen.